Well, good evening. On behalf of the Overby Center for Southern Journalism and Politics, let me welcome you all here this evening. I thank you for your interest and for your attendance. Thanks also to the two campaigns who've agreed to join us for the program. It's the only political debate we've been able to arrange this summer. I should say that we have tried to put together Republican debates. So far, we've been unsuccessful in getting them together. But this evening, we're very glad to have two candidates for the Democratic nomination for governor as our guests. I'll introduce everybody quickly so we can get down to business and try to make this an hour-long program. We have here on my far left Johnny DuPree, mayor of Hattiesburg, and Bill Luckett, a Clarksdale attorney. These two men have both worked very hard on behalf of their home cities to make them better places, and now they're campaigning to take those leadership qualities to the governor's office. Gentlemen, thank you for being with us here this evening. Our format's going to be real simple. There'll be an opening statement by both candidates. The order was determined earlier by a coin flip. Bill Luckett will make the opening statement, and then questions will be posed by a panel of Mississippi journalists. We have Jacob Batt, who is the news editor of the Daily Mississippian, Bobby Harrison, the Capitol correspondent for the Northeast Mississippi Daily Journal of Tupelo, and John Scott, the news editor of the Oxford Eagle. Thanks, guys, for serving in this role. We'll have a first round of questions. Each candidate will have, the candidate who's asked the question will have 90 seconds to respond, and then the person who didn't get the question will have 60 seconds either to comment on that response or to answer the question himself, or perhaps pose a question to the other candidate. We're going to make this informal, try to get as much give and take between these candidates as we can. After the first round of questions, we'll move to a second round, but we'll cut it off at some point to allow time for closing statements by the two candidates before we end it at 7 o'clock. I'll act as a referee and try to enforce the timekeeping. Thanks if you guys have cell phones, if you'll make sure that they've been turned off. And also, I'd appreciate if you'd hold down the applause so we can keep this thing moving. So now, if we could have Bill Luckett's opening statement.
Thank you, Curtis, and it's a real pleasure to be here in this beautiful new Overby Center. I went to law school over there in what's now called Fairley Hall. That was 2 law schools ago for some of you newcomers here. I was raised in Clarksdale, lived there since I was 6 weeks old. I worked my way through college and through law school. I commanded a National Guard unit, the Mississippi National Guard, and became a small town lawyer. I've started several small businesses from scratch by investing my own money and worked alongside with construction crews to rebuild abandoned buildings, helping create jobs and revitalize a small town that many had written off. As governor, I will bring my can-do approach to creating jobs across Mississippi. I'll focus on helping local small businesses with loan guarantees. I can balance a budget without raising taxes, but I know that investing more in education is the best way to create jobs and improve the economy. I will cut out wasteful and unnecessary perks and instead will focus on helping working families. You see, Mississippi's best days lie ahead, and I look forward to answering questions and enjoying this debate tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Mayor DuPree.
Thank you very much. To all of you who are out there, thank you for allowing us to come here to Ole Miss. Last time I was here, we brought about 500 young people here. After I was president of Mississippi Municipal League, we brought 500 young people here to talk about leadership and how they could work in the community, talk about working in the community, because that's really what it's all about. I am Johnny DuPree. I am the mayor of Hattiesburg, Mississippi. I've been elected 3 times there, but prior to that, I was elected 3 times on the Board of Supervisors, and prior to that, I served on the school board. I'm proud to say that I've been married 38 and a half years. My wife is out in the audience, along with my daughter who teaches at the University of South Alabama, speech communication. My other daughter who teaches at the 1st grade in Jackson, Mississippi, and my 4-year-old grandson who does nothing but disrupt things. And so he's out there with us because we do this as a family. It is a family thing. We decided to do this as a family. Every time we decide to run, it's as a family. I was raised in Hattiesburg, Mississippi. I was actually born in Fort Benning, Georgia. My dad was a paratrooper, 82nd Airborne. When we decided to come back to Hattiesburg, he decided not to come back to Hattiesburg. So my mother raised 3 children. She raised 3 children the best she could. I started working when I was 8 years old, selling newspapers. First lady I sold paper for gave me an opportunity was Miss Lily McLaurin. Said, rain, shine, sleet or snow, Lily Papers gotta go. That was her slogan because she was preparing us for what was gonna happen in our future. She was preparing us because she let us know that you could expect anything, because anything could happen. But be prepared. Be prepared for what happens, and don't let things put you down so that you won't continue to try to excel and try to exceed. That's what my mama did for us too. She tried to make sure that we would excel and exceed, and that's why she thought education was the best way to do that. And so that's why my children are educated. My wife is educated. I'm educated. We talk about educating children every time we stand up, and we spread that word. So I thank you for allowing us to come. Education is the way out. What better place to have a forum, debate, or whatever you want to call it, than at a university? Thank you very much.
Thank you. First question from John Scott.
Good evening.
Hello.
Pleasure to be here, and thank you for attending. And the first question, I'm sorry, goes to
One.
Okay.
Your choice.
Mr. Luckett. Mississippi remains at the bottom or near the bottom of so many lists, so many health areas like obesity and high blood pressure. We're at the bottom of list on the economy and so many academic lists. We've been there for so many years. It's obviously there's no easy answer to get us off these lists, but in your opinion, what can you do to start moving the state off the bottom?
John, I wrote a paper about being last in the best and first in the worst when I was an American government major at the University of Virginia back in 1968. So I'm well aware, acutely aware of this problem. One of the reasons I'm running for office is that I'm sick and tired of holding those rankings. Now what we do long term, we start with education. The best job program, the best economic growth driver is a great education. But it's got to start earlier than it's starting now. It must start at pre-K or early childhood levels. We must sustain that momentum right on up through the career path that's chosen, whether it's the 2-year associate degree in a trade at a community college or a 4-year IHL type experience. But education is the best long-term answer to the problem. Only 30% of our children are getting any kind of accessible early childhood education benefit in our state now. Short term, I want to work with small businesses. Small businesses are the backbone of the economy in this state. 85% of the jobs emanate from small businesses. Small businesses feel somewhat left out. It's good to see these big box projects coming in. And I'm proud we've got the Nissans and Toyotas and even the Kiors and the Eurocopters and the Elevances. But our small businesses need help, and I want to focus on helping small businesses with facilitating loans from traditional lenders. Thank you.
Thank you. Mayor DuPree.
Well, I agree with you. You know, for far too long, Mississippi continues to be at the low end of the totem pole. I'm proud to say that Hattiesburg has done real well in the 10 years that we've been there. We've not raised taxes during a downturn of our economy. We've been able to help create 1,000 jobs last year, another 1,000 jobs this year by recruiting a company called Styon to come to Hattiesburg and asking them to do one thing because they wanted something, and that was to ask them, or require them almost, to hire Mississippi people. They were hiring Mississippi contractors. If they wanted something from us, we wanted something from them. And so they agreed to do that. But as I agree, though, the education is the main focus of what we need to do. And that's why early childhood development is where we ought to be. And our program says that if the state's not going to do it, then we're going to take private church schools and incentivize them so that those private church schools will then be teaching the curriculum so that when that kid goes to school, he's already been taught the curriculum that they're already going to be teaching until we catch up with him at the state level and the state does what it's supposed to do with early childhood development.
Thank you.